Every few years, a scandal explodes into the headlines. Names circulate, outrage surges, commentary fills every screen, and then gradually it fades. But something interesting happens beneath that noise. The institutions remain, the networks remain, the influence remains. Power doesn't disappear, it reorganizes. This idea sits at the center of L, origin of the blood, not as a sensational claim, but as a historical pattern. If you study history long enough, you start to notice that influence rarely collapses. It adapts. Empires fall, yet elite families remain embedded in finance. Governments restructure, yet advisory networks continue across administrations. Economic crises erupt, yet generational wealth persists. Why? Because power is rarely random. It's cultivated, inherited, and strategically protected. We live in an age trained to react. A headline drops, and the immediate question becomes, how did this happen? But history asks a different question. What preceded this? What structures made this possible? Who benefits when nothing fundamentally changes? That shift in questioning changes everything. In researching L, origin of the blood, I focused not on single events, but on continuity, genealogies, intermarriages, financial alliances, institutional founding families. Across centuries, patterns begin to emerge. This isn't about secret myths or hidden codes, it's about documented relationships. Influence tends to consolidate, wealth tends to concentrate, networks tend to reinforce themselves. And when those networks face disruption, they reorganize. Look at revolutions throughout history. Public faces change, systems rebrand, structures evolve. But often the underlying architecture of influence remains remarkably stable. That stability isn't accidental, it's strategic. Generational power doesn't operate on election cycles. It operates on decades, sometimes centuries. Industrial fortunes become philanthropic foundations. Banking houses shift into policy advisory roles. Political families extend influence across branches of government. The form changes. The continuity persists. One of the least examined aspects of modern discourse is generational influence. We talk about individuals. We talk about scandals. We talk about corruption. But we rarely talk about lineage. We rarely examine how influence transfers from parent to child, from mentor to successor, from institution to subsidiary. And we rarely ask how elite education systems reinforce elite networks. When you zoom out far enough, repetition becomes visible. And repetition suggests structure. Ellie, Origin of the Blood explores that structure. It compiles historical threads and traces patterns across bloodlines and institutions. It challenges the idea that power resets every few years. More often, it adapts. This perspective doesn't require paranoia. It requires historical literacy. Because once you start recognizing patterns instead of reacting to headlines, you see events differently. You begin to notice continuity where others see chaos. And that's the difference between reacting and studying. This channel exists for one reason: to explore those patterns, to step back from outrage cycles and examine long-term structures. If you find yourself sensing that certain names, institutions, or alliances seem to resurface repeatedly across time, you're not imagining it. History layers influence, and influence compounds. Power doesn't disappear, it reorganizes. If you're ready to look beyond the headline and examine the deeper historical framework, the full investigation is laid out in L, Origin of the Blood. It's available now. Link in the description.